When I was preparing my boat for the race solo around the world, it was incredibly hard work. I was very focused, I was very dedicated. I knew what had to be done. There was no room to be complacent. There was no room to sit back and say, I hope something falls into my lap. I had to make things happen. I had to get up and be motivated. And as I faced challenges, I had to innovate. And this was always about making sure I never just sat back in the world of hope. Complacency has had a big impact on many organizations. They become successful and they think they can just sit back. I'd achieved a certain level of success. I became a sailor. I became a racing sailor. I built a vessel. I launched a vessel. I was preparing for a race around the world. So it would have been very easy to become complacent, as sometimes a corporation can become. A classic example of a company that became complacent was Blockbuster. It was big, it was successful, it was making money, it was all across the United States and even in some other countries. And they never looked at their competition. They took it for granted that they were king of the market. But their competition was always trying to find a way to innovate, was always trying to find a way to gain new market share. And eventually an upstart came along and said they're going to do things totally different. They're not going to have bricks and mortar. They're going to go to online streaming. And Blockbuster didn't pay attention to this. They just abandoned the idea of they were king. Nobody could take them. And this upstart decided to mail DVDs to the marketplace. And then they decided to innovate again. And this time do online streaming. Their competitor is Netflix. And we know what happened to Blockbuster. When they realized the market had shifted, it was too late to shake their complacency. And Blockbuster failed. And today, the online movie market is dominated by Netflix. Growing up in apartheid South Africa, we had a rallying call to gain a knowledge base, to become educated, to become aware, to become politically active, to be socially just. We were very active in our communities to combat apartheid. But after apartheid was dismantled and free elections were held, a lot of South Africa became complacent. Again, felt that they'd achieved freedom, but did not realize that to have this freedom, you've got to continue to work at it. And you have to hold people accountable. You've got to pay attention to the details. And sadly, parts of the government, in their complacency, they did not address the problems of corruption. They did not push the social change that was needed in the post-apartheid arena. They did not provide housing. They did not provide more jobs. They became complacent of we are free. And as a result, the South African economy has stagnated. Corruption has permeated the government. It has challenged companies in so many ways that the economy is just not growing. And so we have to really look at ourselves and realize that if we are going to be successful, we have to be ambitious, we have to be resilient, we have to be committed. These are the vaccines to complacency. We just cannot sit back. When I was racing my boat, yes, there were beautiful days where I wanted to just sit back in that cockpit and savor the moment and read a book. And I could do that because I'd done the hard work of making sure the boat was in the right conditions. But I didn't become complacent and think the right conditions would last forever. I knew there would be calms. I knew there would be storms. I knew there would be equipment failure. So I always tried to stay ahead. I always tried to stay focused. Appreciate the moment, but never lose sight of the future. Never become complacent. And this is how we will find a way to innovate our way out of climate impact. We cannot become complacent and we don't feel the storms, we don't see the immediate impact of what climate change is doing to us. It is happening around us, slowly, subtly, but it is happening. This is our call to action that we must pay attention to and find a way so that we are not the next blockbuster in the world of climate impact.